Hello everyone. Welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. If you enjoy clear, long-form stories that work perfectly with text-to-speech, please like this video, subscribe, and tap the join button to support the channel. Today we're unpacking a delicate and much-discussed topic involving two names that always trend when they appear in the same sentence, Elçin Sangu and Barış. The outline is simple, but the emotions are not. A family's gentle pressure, a long-term relationship edging toward marriage, an ex-partner whose life took a different path, and then, at the most unexpected moment, a phone call that changed the temperature of the room. Let's set the stage. For years, fans associated Elçin Sangu and Barış with the lightning-in-a-bottle energy of Karalık Aşk, Love for Rent. Their on-screen rhythm rewired both careers. Off-screen, they were colleagues who understood the craft and kept professional boundaries, even as the public kept weaving their names into endless theories. Time passed. Projects multiplied. Life moved. The conversations around them didn't always keep up. Recently, according to people close to the matter, Elçin Sangu reached a personal milestone she had been walking toward for a while. After years in a stable relationship, she and her partner began to speak more openly about formalizing their future. This wasn't a whim, it was the logical next step for two adults who have built privacy and trust the hard way. Those who know her say she is decisive in work and patient in life, and that combination finally brought her to a point where someday felt too vague. She wanted a plan, a timeline, and a promise with a date. Family, as ever, played a role. Elçin's close circle, parents, relatives, the kind of family friends who watched premieres and birthdays with equal interest, had gently reminded her that happiness can be chosen, not just discovered. After all, public lives run on deadlines. Private lives need anchors. Their nudges were not demands, but they were frequent enough to matter. And there was one detail many viewers noticed but rarely said out loud. After Barış married and devoted himself to family life, comparisons started to creep into the conversation around Elçin. Why comparisons happen is no mystery, why we keep feeding them is the question. Her family, protective and practical, wanted her to steer clear of that noise by focusing on what she wanted, not what people expected. Then came the twist that has kept headlines warm for days, a phone call. It was not a dramatic midnight ultimatum, and it was not a scripted monologue. But it was surprising enough that those who heard about it replayed the words again and again. The claim is that Barış reached out and, in carefully chosen language, suggested that Elçin Sangu should not rush into marriage, that she was too young to be cornered by timelines other people set, that she should wait. The phrasing varied across retellings, as it always does, but the tone in most versions was similar, protective, earnest, and firm enough to leave an echo. The question the internet immediately asked is the one we will not pretend has an easy answer: why did he say it? There are at least 5 ways to read this moment, and each reading reveals more about the reader than the subject. First reading, the protective colleague. It is possible that Barış spoke from the perspective of someone who has navigated the transition from absolute freedom to structured family life and knows the cost measured in hours, travel, and lost quiet. To tell a friend do not rush is not the same as telling them do not love. It can be a way of saying, choose this because you can't imagine not choosing it, not because everyone else has already turned the page. Second reading, the friend who remembers the tempo of a career. A major project can demand months of rearranged priorities. Contracts do not bend easily for wedding dates or long honeymoons. Perhaps he feared that a rushed decision would create friction neither love nor work deserves. In this reading, timing is not romance's enemy, it is its architect. Third reading, residual care mislabeled by the public. When two people share a history of professional closeness, even years later a gesture can be misunderstood. You can intend kindness and deliver confusion. You can intend caution and deliver controversy. Words meant to steady can accidentally unbalance. Fourth reading, the mirror turned inward. Sometimes advice is autobiography in disguise. When people urge caution, they may be remembering where they themselves accelerated or hesitated. That doesn't make the advice invalid. It just means it carries personal gravity. Fifth reading, none of the above, and all of the above. Perhaps the call was simply a human impulse, a friend reacting to news with the first words that came to mind, then realizing that private speech has public consequences when names like these are involved. Now, the other half of this moment belongs to Elçin Sangu. How did she receive it? Sources say she listened without interrupting and responded with the calm that defines her best interviews. She acknowledged the concern. She thanked him. And she said, as kindly as possible, that adults earn their choices by making them, not by outsourcing them. She has always been careful with public statements, and that caution is not fear, it is respect for her life, her partner, and the work that pays for both. Those who expected a loud reaction misread her entirely. She doesn't elevate disagreement into drama. She lowers the drama into a conversation and leaves it there. At this point, the family dimension returned, not as pressure but as balance. Loved ones asked the necessary questions. Do you want this because you want it, or because a timeline suggested it? Do you feel seen and supported? Does the plan honor both of your careers instead of forcing one to shrink? The answers, we're told, were affirming. And with that, the path forward remained the path forward. Meanwhile, fan reactions broke into familiar camps. One side amplified the phone call into a storyline it may not deserve, turning cautionary words into an attempt to control. Another side insisted that a long friendship grants permission to speak frankly, even inconveniently. A third group, quieter, but wiser, suggested that everyone lower the volume, because a private decision is not a public puzzle. The healthiest thing you can say about a marriage you are not part of is, may it be chosen freely, built kindly, and protected fiercely. There is, of course, the shadow of the past. When Barış married, he implicitly taught the audience a lesson many did not want to learn: multiple truths can exist in the same frame. You can honor a successful past collaboration and still commit wholeheartedly to a different future. You can share enormous credit for a shared screen legacy and still center your family in every next decision. Fame often invites us to pick sides. Real life declines the invitation. What happens next will likely look ordinary from the outside, which is another way of saying it will be healthy. If Elçin Sangu continues toward marriage, it will happen on a timeline she defines with her partner, not with comment sections. If a celebration comes, it will be designed for vows rather than photo traffic. If there are rings, they will be exchanged without press conferences. And if there is no public update, that silence will not be a mystery to solve, it will be a boundary to respect. Before we close, let's zoom out to the lesson this story quietly suggests for anyone following public people. Admiration is not ownership. Curiosity is not entitlement. When you love the work someone made with a former partner, honor the work by letting the people unbind themselves from your favorite ending. Artists grow best when audiences let them be people first. If you've watched this far, thank you for choosing nuance over noise. If this breakdown helped you hear the story instead of the shouting around it, please like the video, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and ring the bell so you never miss our next deep dive. In the comments, I want to hear your thoughtful takes, no spoilers about private timelines, no personal attacks. Tell me this instead: what makes a strong foundation for a public figure's private life? Shared values, coordinated schedules, or a complete firewall between career and home? Keep it respectful, we'll keep the space safe. To Elçin Sangu and Barış, may your choices, past, present, and future, be guided by clarity and surrounded by compassion. And to everyone who cares about them, remember, the truest support is not louder speculation. It is quiet goodwill. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and goodbye.